Good morning, guys. This is Rusty 78609, Central Texas, USA. It is about 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, and right now it's about I don't know, 70 degrees, 75 in that range. Not bad right now. It's going to be the next 5-day forecast, 102 degrees, but that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to talk about the reliability of the Toyota Prius. I've got a 2013 Toyota Prius Package 2 with about 47,000 miles on it, and I was contemplating buying a new one. And I got to checking on what happens to Priuses as they get older. What starts to go? Is it the batteries and all the stuff? What happens? So what I did was I looked at the history. I went back to the 2003 and forward all the way up to 2010, and I looked on Craigslist and I looked on Auto Trader, and I read the descriptions and I looked at the mileage and kind of checked out, kind of what was going on with those vehicles. And what I found, and one of the things that occurred to me as I was looking at all that data, was the fact that the none of them, not one of them, had in the description new batteries. There was not one reference to batteries in the, I don't know, I probably looked at 50 different Priuses in different model years, and not one of them said new batteries. So I thought, well, maybe the batteries last a lot longer than I think. So then I go to the Prius chat rooms, and there's several of those, and I checked with the Toyota service department in Round Rock, Texas, and what they told me at the service department is they don't know how long the batteries last. They've had cars come in there with nearly 300,000 miles, and they still got the original batteries. And it appears that, just based on my minimal research, that the batteries are not an issue. And the reason is, number one, they apparently last a lot longer. You're looking at around 200,000 miles or more. And number two, the price of the batteries is coming down quickly. Right now you can get a full replacement for around $1,500. Now you can also get it done cheaper. There are places, in large cities, there are some individuals that have started businesses of replacing Prius batteries. They have one in Austin, Texas. They have one in Houston, Texas, and they'll actually come to your home and do the replacement of the batteries there. And they only replace the battery cells that are defective. So you can get all of your defective cells replaced. They keep the old ones and then, send them in to be remanufactured. But the cost is about $500 to $800. So, that's not a big item for a car that you're going to keep that long. As far as engine problems, none. Brakes, none. What happens is, this is a point I was going to make. The tires don't last very long on a Prius. Okay, if you get 38,000 miles out of a set of tires, that's pretty good. That's about all you're going to get on the original equipment. Now, if you get a set of Michelin Defenders, which I've got on here now, they're rated at 90,000 miles. So I had them rotated at 9,000 miles here just a few days ago, and we checked the tread wear. And based on the tread wear and some simple math, it looks like I'm going to get about 68,000 miles on these Michelin Defender tires, which is very good. I'll take that. And they cost $500 for a set of 4 installed with all the crap. The reason the tires don't last as long on a Prius is two reasons. The Prius is a fairly heavy car because of the batteries. And the second thing is the resistive braking. In other words, when you let off the gas or take your foot off the pedal on the Prius, the resistive braking charges the battery. Okay, you can read up on what resistive braking is, but basically it's a way to charge the batteries. Well, what that creates is a little friction on the wheels, on the tires. So the tires do wear a little faster because it's like you've almost got the brakes on, you follow me? And so there is a little friction caused there that causes a little additional tread wear. It's microscopic or minimal, but it does occur. But overall, it appears that just based on my surface research, and I'm keeping my Prius I'm going to go ahead and try to keep it for another 5 years, I think, because it's just me. I don't smoke. I don't have pets. I mean, it's just like brand new. And it's this model is great for camping. It really is. I mean, I've camped in it many times. You can check out my playlist on my homepage for Prius camping. It's Rusty, RUSTY 78609, all lowercase, no spaces, and uh, and see what you think about that. But as to the longevity of a Prius, it looks like, and I checked with Consumer Reports too. They actually rate pre-owned or used cars as to what problems you run into as they get older. And on the Prius, the only thing they pointed out was, and it was still a high score, still a good score, but it was the lowest of all the rest, was rattles. You get some, because it's got the hard plastic on the inside, and you get rattles. I haven't noticed any. I noticed there's a few times in the winter that I notice it, but in the summer, it's the plastic, the heat expands the plastic, so you don't notice it or you don't hear it. But other than that, it looks like the Prius is just an excellent car, and it would be for people that are looking for used cars. Of course, it depends on how the user used it and abused it. But, if you can find one that's been fairly well maintained, again, my tips on buying a used car, I'll be brief on this, is one, do a Google Earth or Google Maps and zoom in on that neighborhood where that car is. And if it's a nice neighborhood, upper middle class, that's a plus. If you go into the neighborhood to go look at the car and they're all nicely mowed lawns and so forth, that's a big plus. If you pull up in front of the house and they've got another nice automobile there and maybe two cars, that's great. And, if they've got new tires on the car, that's great. And if you look at the maintenance history on the vehicle, which they mostly should have, you should always ask for that. And, if they've maintained it at a Toyota dealership, that's a big plus. If they've changed the oil regularly, that's a big plus. Because, see, if they've taken it to the Toyota dealership always checks for all the other things because they want to make more money. So they check the brakes, the tires, all the suspension, filters, everything they can check to run up their revenue. So if they've had it dealer maintained, big plus. Nice neighborhood, big plus. Good tires on the car, that's another plus. And you get in the car and sit down, and you can sniff around and tell if they've had dogs or smoked or whatever. But be that as it may, the Prius is a reliable car. If you're looking for a used car, I'd recommend it. So thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye bye. Check out my playlist on my homepage.